Well, it appears that Western content creators are still as narcissistic as ever because I have another video to go through as it relates to Nintendo, Tears of the Kingdom, and this attitude by these Western content creators that basically reveals that these people believe that they should be able to do whatever they want, whenever they want, with Nintendo's property, with their marketing, and Nintendo should have no say. And if they dare to question these Western content creators putting out leaked and illegitimate content, Nintendo should have no say in this. They should be able to keep those videos up, and Nintendo should just sit on their thumbs. Oh, golly shucks, they got us. You know, nothing to do now. We've got a YouTube channel called RGT85. All right, he's got a video that I have to go over because it follows up on some of the things that I was talking about in my last video about this, but this one I think really captures the pure essence of everything that I hate about the entitlement and narcissism of Western content creators. And if you listen to what this guy says, and you listen to the way he says it, it is so abundantly clear that this guy does not understand the issue at hand here. And so we're going to go over this. We're going to talk about this. It's yet another example of people prioritizing themselves and their channel, which exists primarily to put out leaked and illegitimate information first for clicks and views. You know, that's not all that it is, but a lot of these channels, they rely on capturing your attention first. It's the problem that the mainstream media has. You want to be first. You want to be the first one to talk about this particular issue. And a lot of times what it leads to is, kind of dubious business practices. I can't say I can blame a person for trying to earn a buck. But it seems that time and time again, what happens is Nintendo will be like, we want to present this game in the way that we want to present it. We think that this is the best way to market the game. This is the best way to deliver the most primo experience to our customers. And people like this guy say, no, no, no. I'm going to do what I want anyway. And if you dare to enforce your copyright law, I'm going to complain about it. And a bunch of people who hate you are going to say mean things about you online. I just think, I think this attitude is really, it's really embarrassing if I have to be honest about it. I understand as a business owner, wanting to protect your business, wanting to grow your business, but there are right ways to do it and wrong ways to do it. And we're going to go over it because I think that this is the wrong way to handle this because it makes people look bad. I look at content creators that are complaining about this stuff and it makes them look bad because there's no substance or legitimate argument here. It is essentially this guy, I don't know him, no offense to him, he's not the only one, but crying in their pram, throwing a temper tantrum as it were, and saying, well, I want to be able to do what I want, when I want, with Nintendo's intellectual property, with their marketing. I should be able to do that and make money off of that and profit off of that. And Nintendo, they shouldn't have a say in it. They shouldn't be allowed to take down my videos. They shouldn't be allowed to even come up in the conversation. They should just sit there and allow me, RGT85, with nearly 500,000 subscribers, to post and promote a leaked commercial that Nintendo was not ready to release. This guy's opinion is that Nintendo has no right to take that down, that it's silly, that they're out of control. And I'm here to be a cold dose of water, a reality check, because what you're saying and what a lot of other content creators in the West are saying is absolute dog shit.
We can all agree on two things, I feel like. One, not a Nintendo YouTuber.
Not a Nintendo YouTuber. He didn't say that as a joke. So now I'm kind of curious.
So as
He's not a Nintendo YouTuber. That's Nintendo, Tears of the Kingdom, Nintendo. I sold my...
means to me.
What if feeding your dog fresh Whole Foods was easy? At Sun...
Me was...
Let's go find
Come on. Come on. You've got to be kidding me. God, unskippable 15-second ad. This is my punishment. God, and they'll probably copyright claim my video too. Well, okay. That was a waste of time, but...
training pack right now. And it had
hopefully...
house. He had just got... when I decided to sell...
Okay.
Dragon.
So this
Free
guy...
and I...
It's got Nintendo stuff,
Mom,
so...
this craziest thing. Our house. Very again. So I wanted to... the street hoop. Our... They love me, they should me.
Okay, I think that this has... I think this has Nintendo content. Oh, yeah, look at that. Oh, that's definitely. All right, so we'll chalk this up to a Nintendo video. Oh, God, did I click out of that? Gosh.
So,
darn it. Okay. Nintendo video. Nintendo. Oh, it looks like a health-related thing. Nintendo. I'm really nervous about this. Why is there a little mark? I don't remember watching. I don't know. Nintendo. I see Luigi's Mansion. Nintendo. So maybe it's like an inside joke that I'm just not getting. Yeah, maybe it's just like some kind of like funny meme.
and 2, The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a game that Nintendo is really privative about and secretive about, and they don't want people to know things on their own sort of terms. Nintendo wants to announce things on their own set of ground rules, and really, they've been kind of out of control.
They've been out of control? See, I guess I can understand that perspective if I were somebody that was running a business that was all around releasing information before a company really wanted that information out there. Like, if my entire business structure relied on putting out content that was leaked, like this guy did, I guess maybe that would be my perspective too. But no, Nintendo has not been out of control. They have a marketing idea in mind. They have something in their head that they want to put out there. Now, let me tell you, as somebody who has been inside marketing rooms with marketing teams, it's not random. There could be an idea like, hey, look, we've got these games right now. We've got this game coming out here, but we want to promote that here. So we're going to push this back here. And we want this trailer to come out here because if we don't, if the focus is on that, then it can't be on this game here. So we really want to put the emphasis on this game here only for a couple of days. It doesn't have to be a long time. It can get very complicated. So what this guy is essentially doing is saying they're out of control. But no, Nintendo is not out of control. I think that this guy and other Western content creators are so narcissistic and up their own ass and delusional, they don't realize what this is. This isn't a video game. No, it's not. It is a multi-billion yen IP. It is a franchise. It is going to generate them a fortune. So they are very, very careful and protective about this IP. They are very careful and protective about what they show, what they don't show. When they show it, they are trying to manage this because they have a vision in mind. Now, you, random nobody on YouTube that really has no financial interest in this other than for yourself, you don't know what's going on in these boardrooms. You don't know what the thought process is. You can speculate on it, but I don't think you even genuinely care. I think many people like you and Western content creators are only thinking about themselves. How much views and how much money and how much content can I get out of this? The fact of the matter is that Nintendo is trying to market this in the best way that they think. And you decided, hey, all the leaked content that comes out, I'm going to be the first one to cover it because I want those clicks and views. No, I think that you know what you did was wrong, but I think that you weighed it. You said, okay, on one hand, yeah, this is going to suck and Nintendo is really going to come after me, potentially, and, I'm not going to probably get review copies, and, Nintendo's probably going to be pretty pissed because, I'm pissing on them. On the other hand, money and clicks and views and attention off of this situation. Correct me if I'm wrong, and actually we can through the power of the internet, we can take a look.
So
I am curious if RGT85 covered the. By the way, these are all Nintendo games, so I'm guessing that was like a tongue-in-cheek, like joke. Was your video on the Zelda leaks taken down? I wonder. That's entirely possible. Yeah, all his content is just Zelda. It seems like maybe it's like I think I'm putting too much thought into it. I'm just trying to like piece it together. But yeah, I think huge Zelda leaks. Yeah, okay. So he did cover the Zelda leaks, and the video's still there. What about live streams? Oh look, more Nintendo stuff. 7 years, 5 years, 4 years. Maybe he took down the live stream. I don't know. I think this guy did a live stream.
So as crazy as it is to...
I think this guy did a live stream where he was talking about the leaks and showing the book, but I could be thinking about somebody else. So, yeah, on that front, don't take it too seriously. But this guy is obviously willing and able to show and talk about leaks and stuff like that because otherwise Nintendo would not care. They're on the verge of releasing their biggest game potentially ever. I mean, you could argue Animal Crossing and all that because Animal Crossing was huge. But this is something here.
In this situation, I feel there's been a bunch of instances that we can talk about, and we're gonna talk about them because now there's another instance going on, and it's just like, why so secretive? Like, why so serious with this? A little Batman, a little Joker. Heath Ledger was okay. I prefer Jack Nicholson, but the kids like the Heath Ledger.
I agree. I thought Jack Nicholson was great. Oh, I can explain this to you, and I genuinely do not mean this. I'm terribly sorry. Let me find a better picture. Okay. Oh God. Okay. All right. That'll do. I can explain this to you. Why Nintendo is so secretive. In fact, I did for the most part. I've already explained a majority of it. The reason why Nintendo is so secretive is because this game is worth so much fucking money. Think about the things that you're willing to do for the amount of money that you do them. So, say you get, this got, almost 50,000 views. I don't know what that's worth. Maybe a couple $100. Okay? You take a look at your videos on leaks. Maybe that has like 100,000, 200,000. Let's say you get 1 million views. Okay? What is that? A couple grand? And what are you willing to do for 1 million views? I imagine you'd probably be willing to do a lot. If a booklet came out that leaked, internal documents from Nintendo, talking about, the mechanics for Tears of the Kingdom a couple days before the game comes out, where people are as hyped as they are, you'd probably cover it and you'd probably do it. Now imagine you multiply that by a couple 100 million. Nintendo has a huge financial interest in this. They want this game to come out, and they think that they know best how to launch it. Now, you, who owns a YouTube channel since 2015, may think that you know better, that you can do it better. Nintendo disagrees. You can commentate, you can give your opinion, and I'm not just calling you out specifically. No, by no means. This video, I think, just highlights the situation so perfectly. But there are many people, some of them are even millionaires, like Most Critical and Asmongold. But here's the thing. The amount of money that Nintendo is dealing with here is more than all of us on YouTube will see in our lifetimes by an order of magnitude. I mean, all of us. Like, if you combined what all YouTubers earn on this goddamn platform, it wouldn't even scratch what Nintendo pays for marketing in a year. So understand that why would they do that? Why would they be so secretive? Why would they put so much emphasis on marketing? Because their marketing budget is bigger than you will ever see in your life. For a month of Tears of the Kingdom marketing, the amount of money that they're dealing with, the amount of money they're putting out now is astronomical. So, and please don't take this the wrong way, but when some cocksucker Western content creator comes out and says, "Oh, here, let me show you this leak thing that Nintendo doesn't want to put out yet," and we can edit it and kind of gray it out, or maybe plaster something on there. But we're gonna go through every little bit of it, and we're gonna go frame by frame, and we're gonna talk about it. And Nintendo's looking at that, going, "Are you fucking kidding me? We have a plan. We've got a time frame. We've got how we want to do this, and you've got people that are actively trying to sabotage that for clout online, for dollars and cents." Yeah, I would be pissed too. We're talking about a multi-billion yen deal that could potentially be jeopardized in some way because some person decides to leak something that they didn't want leaked. Now, you don't care about that, obviously. Many Western content creators don't care about that, but Nintendo does, which is why they fight so hard for it, because no one is going to care about the Legend of Zelda franchise as much as Nintendo.
A little Batman, a little Joker. Heath Ledger was okay. I prefer Jack Nicholson, but, the kids like the Heath Ledger. R.I.P. Heath Ledger. But going into this, basically, we have a lot of different things to talk about. We have the whole GameStop employee situation, where a GameStop employee said that he felt that a Tears of the Kingdom Switch OLED could potentially be announced very soon because a SKU popped up in the GameStop database for a new Nintendo Switch variant. It wasn't, of course, confirmed that it was Zelda related, but putting two and two together and seeing, of course, the leaked images from back in December about the Switch OLED that was Legend of Zelda themed, he kind of just assumed that, hey, this could probably be it. So pre-orders might be going up pretty soon. And then, of course, pre-orders did go up. But Nintendo wasn't happy with that. And Nintendo went out of their way to make sure that this employee got fired. This employee lost their job. This person, their life was ruined. It might not be ruined for the long term. You can always get another job, but now there's a blemish on your resume. Like, oh, why'd you get fired? What was that about? This, that, and the other. And in the short term, it's going to ruin their life. It's impacting their income. It's impacting their financial situation and their living conditions and stuff like that.
Good. No, I'm not kidding. Good. As somebody who, let me just tell you, I've been on the other side. I've been on the other side, and it fucking sucks. You may not have any sympathy for Nintendo. You may think they're a big corporation, who gives a shit? You pay a fucking fortune for marketing and advertising, and you've got things that you want to release on the time schedule that you want to release them, and some fucking kid making goddamn minimum wage at a GameStop releases your plans, releases what you want to do. I mean, let me explain this. Imagine that you have 2 Switch OLED consoles, all right? You've got a game coming out for, I don't know, one Splatoon, one Zelda, right? So you announce Splatoon 3 or 4, right? And you've got a Switch OLED for that game. A day or a week before, some kid announces that they're going to be coming out with a Legend of Zelda OLED for Tears of the Kingdom. Now, I know that people will say, well, you can't really say that that'll affect the sale. You can bet your bottom dollar that that would affect the sale. It would affect the number of people who buy that game. And it will affect the number of people who buy an OLED for Splatoon 4. Now you could say, well, that's not what happened here. Granted, it's an example. It's an example of what can happen if you allow rogue random employees at GameStop to leak things without knowing a goddamn clue because they think it's cool and they want attention on the internet. It can mess with your multi-billion yen business. Does that make sense? It's pretty clear. So this guy, all he got was fired? That's it? Boy, he sure got off lucky.
I think it's a gross overreaction. People are going to say, oh, well, it's okay. They can do that because they're Nintendo simps, but
I've been cordial up to this point. I think I've been pretty cordial. But one thing that irritates me, aside from this narcissistic attitude, is when you actively undermine the opinion of people that obviously are smarter and more informed than you are. I don't care that you have the opinion that you have. Obviously, you've got a financial interest. I don't know if you're aware of it. I mean, because honestly, I can't gauge your intelligence from just these videos. But what I'm saying is, the people like myself who are acknowledging the flaw in your argument and the argument of many content creators in the West, it's not because, I'm a Nintendo fan, It's because I've worked in the business world. I've seen what can happen when you have somebody that meddles with your business. And I don't care if it's a huge corporation or not. The fact of the matter is that this person made a choice to do this because he wanted attention, he wanted clout, he wanted whatever. He put that out there. That was not within Nintendo's plan to release it at that time. This guy violated his job. Now, GameStop looks bad. What if GameStop didn't fire him? What would that say to fellow leakers? Hey, you know what? This upcoming OLED thing, you know what? You can just speculate out. You work at GameStop, so that adds more credibility to what you're doing. Yeah, I'm a GameStop employee. I saw this SKU number. All these things lead me to believe that it's Tears of the Kingdom OLED. This is going to be the release date and stuff. And so people will put more credibility into that. And even if it's false, it does damage. So, no, I don't agree that it was too harsh. I mean, my gosh.
I'm not one of those. Then, of course, we have my situation. Now, once again, this is not a woe is me situation by any stretch of the imagination, but I made a video, and in this video, I talked about all of the new stuff that was going on with Tears of the Kingdom. One of the things I showcased in this video was a Reddit post that had been up for a couple of days showcasing an unfinished commercial for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom that actually showed new gameplay. Now, since then, the commercial has actually been released. Nintendo has officially released it on their YouTube channel, so I guess now I can show off the commercial commercial, but at that time, I guess that was a big no.
So here's the thing. I don't have any personal issues against people like this, or really Western video game content creators in general. I don't have anything really personally against them because I don't know them. But do you hear what he said? I guess it's got a big deal that I showed leaked footage from a commercial. If you want to piss me off, this is the way to do it. Insult people generally who disagree with you. Come up with a dumbass opinion and then just go completely off the rails by pretending that you don't understand why people at Nintendo would be a little bit miffed that the commercial that they probably paid millions of dollars for is being leaked online and being circulated for other content creators and people to use to profit for their advantage and not display it in the way that Nintendo would want. Do you think that Nintendo wants brand new footage of Tears of the Kingdom to go on your fucking channel in some kind of distorted way that, because I don't want to get copyright claim because it's all about me? Do you think that that's what they want? Do you think they paid millions of dollars so they can go on your channel and have their thing distorted or altered or paused? And do you think that's what they wanted? No. No, they very much didn't. And the fact that you tried to weasel your way out of responsibility for the bullshit that you did, it just speaks volumes. And that's what fucking goads me. It just, there's no accountability. There's no responsibility. There's no taking a look at the fucking mirror and saying, yeah, you know what? I am kind of a piece of shit for what I did. And you are. I don't begrudge you for earning a buck, man. But my God, people who do that, they have no integrity. They have no standards. You're gonna show some bootleg, commercial that's not really that high quality. It's like Spawnwave on his channel. At the very least, if he talks about the stuff, he doesn't show anything because Spawnwave is smart. He can talk about the stuff. He's not the first one out there to get this stuff done. He waits. And I think in the end, it's actually quite beneficial to him. It's why Nintendo doesn't seem to go after people like that. Could be wrong. I could be wrong, but...
No, even though I made it so that it was not going to be something that could be automatically detected. Nintendo had to go out of their way to watch that video in order to copyright claim it. And they did. And I thought that was really strange because I wasn't the source of it. The Reddit post was still up after the fact that they claimed that video, but I ended up losing all the revenue off of that video and all the views off that video.
You hear? Am I a fucking genius or what? Can I call these things or what? The thing that he's worried about, the thing that he's concerned about is the revenue and the views. And you notice how he said that he made it so that Nintendo couldn't automatically detect it? I have no doubt. He went through a bunch of gymnastics, maybe changed the file name, maybe changed the metadata, maybe went through and, he made it so you can't really see the trailer, maybe sort of. I have no doubt he put in the work. But the fact is that the first thing that he's concerned about are views and money. Now, Nintendo pays millions of dollars for this. And it gets leaked. And this fucking asshole is putting it on his channel in some kind of garbage tier, bootlegged, grayed out, just like, oh man, working in that position, I can tell why Nintendo's furious. Just the fucking audacity of that. It's like, to do it on a channel and think that it's like fair use or whatever. Oh, no, this is protected. I'm transforming this. It's like, oh. I guess they didn't want me to show it like this.
That video's gone forever, so, that kind of sucks. But I'm not here to sort of bash Nintendo and hark on them for protecting their IPs. I'm simply saying that they've been a bit out of control with using their force when it comes to this, because they want everything to be so damn secretive. And I get it. People like surprises. People don't want things ruined. That is completely cool. But I feel like there are certain boundaries that you start to cross when you start to, just go after everyone, even people that you invited to your press event. Because yesterday on the channel, we of course talked about the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom previews. And there were a couple events that happened, one in New York City and one I believe was in Europe, where different people were invited to them, different sorts of websites, different sorts of YouTubers. I wasn't invited because Nintendo hates me and I'm not a Nintendo YouTuber, but lots of...
Okay, so now I get it that it's a joke. I didn't understand that was a running bit. But do you know who else wasn't invited? Kotaku. Kotaku wasn't invited. And do you know why? Well, it's because they have said and done things that are antithetical to Nintendo's marketing. And not just their marketing, but what they think is good for their brand. You had Kotaku basically telling people to go out and pirate and emulate Metroid Dread. So I don't think they're going to be on the invite list. But you notice how this guy goes, well, I wasn't invited. No, I think this was a tongue-in-cheek joke. But here's the thing. I have a good idea why you weren't invited. I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who's been watching this. And I think that is a result of trying to be the first one there. Now, there are other things that could be a contributor to that. But nearly 500,000 subscribers, you should be one of their first calls. They should be more than happy to have it, with your channel, with the number of views you get. They should be happy. But they're not. Because of how you've conducted yourself. And you're not alone. Don't think I'm just calling you out. But that attitude of trying to be the first, of willing to excuse some of the worst sort of behavior, like, maybe IGN did something wrong. No, IGN broke an NDA, and again, kind of like you did, violated, well, you didn't sign an NDA, but you violated what they consider to be like this goodwill doctrine. Like, hey, don't put leaked stuff on your site. Don't mod the game and alter it to be completely different from what we're selling. It's just like,
of other publications did. One of those publications was, of course, IGN, and IGN Japan in specific is what we're going to talk about now. Now, IGN Japan, I believe, is a self-owned subsidiary. I don't believe they're owned by IGN USA, which is kind of like the main branch of it, but they were invited to a press event, and they did cover the game at the press event. Many people actually got video recordings of their footage that they took at the press event, and basically showed off new gameplay that we hadn't seen before, such as, the customization, the whole crafting system, the Ultra Hand mechanic, and how it sort of works and stuff like that. But there were certain areas and certain places that they couldn't go during this press event. You see, Nintendo was kind of watching them the whole time and watching over their shoulder what they were doing. Obviously, they're sort of controlling where they can go and what they can play, as they would at any sort of press event, because I highly doubt that it was the full game that was on display there. Probably just a segmented demo that they had curated in order to give some sort of impressions of it. It seems like people played the game for about an hour, a little bit more than an hour, but IGN Japan actually recorded their own footage, like many YouTubers and different outlets did. But Nintendo did not like what IGN Japan showed in their YouTube video talking about the preview event. So what did they do? They took the video down. Now, once again, I get it. They want things to be secretive.
I don't think you do. Honestly, how honest do I want to be in this video? This guy hasn't done anything to me. He's not really been that egregious, so I think I will pull my punches a little bit more than usual. Because, I don't have anything personal against this guy. I just think that the attitude here is far too typical of Western content creators. But, how do I explain this? How do I explain this to somebody who's wearing a Knicks hat. NDA means non-disclosure agreement. Non-disclosure agreement. So basically, if you don't know, a non-disclosure agreement can take a couple different forms. It can be something, well, it's always something you're not allowed to say, but there could be variants of, okay, you're allowed to show this, but you're definitely not allowed to show this. And if you show this, we're gonna shove our hand up your ass. IGN, a big-time professional operation, leaked content that Nintendo didn't want leaked. Now, I know that you're looking at this going, well, yeah, I did the same thing. What's the big deal? Well, because Nintendo didn't want it, and they signed an NDA. What they did was actually worse than what you did. Amazingly enough. Because you just took the leaked material and uploaded it to your channel. They signed an NDA and then went on to show the content they weren't supposed to show. Okay?
But I watched the IGN Japan video after the fact because it had been archived. And the things that they were getting mad at were very minuscule, in my opinion.
Well, your opinion doesn't matter because you've already demonstrated the fact that, how do I put this delicately? I don't know how to put it delicately. I can't. I'm not gonna say it. But let's just say that your opinion may not be on Nintendo's priority list of people to turn to about this topic. Because you've done something similar. So to you, yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. But to them, it is a big deal because they signed an NDA. They said, you're not going to show this stuff, right? And IGN, the professional company, is like, sure, yeah, no. No, we're not going to show that. They went out of their way to say, okay, here's what you can't show. And then IGN showed it. There could be nothing bigger than that at a marketing event. Because here's the thing. I'm starting to get the impression this guy's from New York, which is why I fucking hate New Yorkers. Look, your pizza's okay. It's not even that good, okay? And, I mean, the fact the Yankees, whatever. They haven't, back in, what was it, the 80s and the 90s, they were okay, whatever. But I think it's the New Yorker that's setting me off in addition. It's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. It's like, you don't see what the big deal is. It's sort of like New Yorkers who pretend that crime rate, isn't a big issue. It's sort of like, well, what's the big deal? They took $850. The limit's $900. It's like, well, yeah, stealing it all is bad. Stealing it all is bad. It's like, this is New York news. The topic of crime and stealing. We have a local criminal who only steals a little bit. Local criminal who only steals a little bit. What is your opinion on crime? Well, crime is, it's over exaggerated. It's not that big of a deal. Frankly, people should be able to steal whatever they want. God damn it. It's the Knicks hat. I swear to God, it's the Knicks hat. It's like I'm turning into the Hulk here.
I don't think that these were things that anyone was going to be like, oh my God, they completely ruined the game for me. This game is completely ruined now. I can't believe this video. No, it was nothing like that. There was
an NDA. An NDA.
One thing that was a bit of a story mechanic that sort of makes people a bit confused, I feel, more so than anything. And the other thing...
So, they wanted to focus on things that they could explain and lay out and sort of build confidence. But then something was leaked that they didn't want talked about, and now it causes confusion, and now people are focusing on that. I wonder why Nintendo wouldn't want that story part of the content that also happens to be a spell or a mechanic, I really wonder why they wouldn't want that talked about. I wonder why they wouldn't want that emphasized. Maybe because this exact situation.
Things were basically gameplay related things. But once again, I don't feel like they were gameplay related things in the sense that they would ruin the enjoyment of the game.
How the fuck do you know? How do you know? Seriously, the sheer fucking hubris. You fucking New Yorkers. The sheer fucking hubris. Oh, I don't think... How do you know? Nintendo obviously made that decision for a reason. They didn't just arbitrarily choose to leave out a certain skill. They didn't just be like, well, you know, we're going to show most of the skills, but not these ones. You can do anything else except for this. But this fucking guy and Western content creators that are the most fucking arrogant and narcissistic people on the fucking planet, it seems. Oh, I don't see what the big deal is. Yeah, it had story elements, but it wasn't a big deal. How the fuck do you know? You have no idea. You're just mad that Nintendo took down your video so you couldn't make your little money. It's like, that's what fucking gets me. I have no problem with this guy making money, doing what he's got to do. I respect that. I respect the hustle, the grind, making money, building a channel. My channel isn't anywhere near that big. But when you got a guy who's sitting up here, and he's second-guessing Nintendo with absolutely no insider information, no insider access, just his gut feeling based on the fact that he wants all this content up so that he can show it to make money on his channel. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Game or ruin a key factor of the game or anything like that.
You don't know
These
that.
are things that you could kind of assume were going to be implemented into this game based on the new abilities that we've seen. I'm not going to say what these things are because Nintendo is obviously very trigger happy when it comes to striking videos down. And I feel like even talking about some of this stuff puts me on more of a hot list than I'm already on. I mean, look.
You're fucking learning. I didn't know a New Yorker could learn. This, ladies and gentlemen, this video, it's progress. I'm just assuming that he's a New Yorker because no one but a New Yorker would fucking wear a Knicks hat. That is like that's like a sign of shame. That is, you know, you can't be a New Yorker, or you can't not be a New Yorker and wear a Knicks hat because it's like, oh, this is our team and yeah, they're shit, but you know.
Let's be real. They watch me. They watch what I do. They watch what I say. So I'm trying to avoid getting in trouble, at least for the rest of the month. May is a new month. We can try again. But Nintendo took down IGN of Japan's video because it showcased some things that were not allowed to be showcased in the video. Now, there were some NDA agreements, so I'm not necessarily bashing Nintendo on this. I feel like this was more of a fallacy on IGN of Japan's video editor for basically leaving in things or showcasing things that weren't supposed to be showcased to begin with. I get it. I understand embargoes and NDAs and stuff like that. I deal with them all the time. But the thing is, most of the time when something is embargoed or something is NDA'd, it's actually something substantial. You know, it's actually...
Well, they feel it's substantial. And I just want to point out something. Shout out to Zeltic and Commonwealth Realm and all those other independent content creators who somehow, some way, managed to be more professional and show more respect for the Legend of Zelda series. Managed to get all of that right and do so in a classy, cordial, respectful way. They managed to do it, but IGN couldn't be fucking bothered. They all edited their videos. They all did commentary over it. They all put in the effort and the time. And so there really is no excuse. Now, if this sort of thing were to happen... Okay, look. If this sort of thing were to happen to an independent content creator, I would have a lot more leeway. They'd be like, oh my god, I didn't mean to. I genuinely didn't mean to. This sort of, this slipped by. I was recording it. Maybe I edited it and, pressed backspace or whatever, and it undid it. I'm deeply sorry. I would have more respect for that person than anyone from IGN. You're talking about a corporation, a huge industry standard.
Something that will potentially ruin someone's experience of the game. It's something that, is a pivotal plot point to a game or a pivotal gameplay mechanic that hasn't been discussed. The things that IGN Japan showed weren't really necessarily like that, at least in my opinion. It's very easy to find all of this sort of stuff on the internet. There's a Reddit post that you could go read that has all the spoilers, and you could click them and it'll show you everything. But I just feel like Nintendo has been so damn secretive with this game, because even though we've gotten preview events of this game, even though we've gotten, a bunch of stuff going on with this, different trailers and stuff like that, there's still so many things that we don't know. Like, there's the whole dungeons thing. People still don't know if there's a more traditional dungeon style in this game, because there was something that looked kind of dungeony, and when you went to go walk up to it, Nintendo representatives during the demo said, "Hey, you can't go there." And it's like, why? Why can't I go there? What do you mean I can't go there? I should be able.
Goddamn. Listen, New York. I'll explain this to you. It's actually very simple. I'm sure that Nintendo has heard the criticism that this is just Breath of the Wild. It's $70 DLC. It's not worth it. What is Nintendo doing? How could they do this? It's a garbage game. There's nothing to it. What they are attempting to do here, at least from my perspective, is they're trying to overwhelm people with certain things. So, the sheer scope of Fuse, Ultra Hand, all that stuff. They're trying to overwhelm people with just how huge it is. And Ganon's back. And, there's new characters. And more Hyrule, but it's different. More to explore. Because what they're hoping to do is to get you in there thinking, wow, Breath of the Wild is amazing. And then the things that you don't know, every one of them is just going to compound that by an order of magnitude. So you're playing the game, you're like, wow, these mechanics are great. I'm having a great time. I'm having fun. And then you get to the point where they're like, oh, and there are dungeons. Like, you need to go defeat these dungeons. That moment, Nintendo doesn't want to rob from you. You know that Ganon is back. You know that the story element is going to be on a whole other level. There's clearly an emphasis on story, but they also wanted to show you this other stuff. They're trying to do the best of both worlds, which is why I am 75% sure that there's going to be dungeons in here, but Nintendo doesn't want to show you that. They want you to discover it in the game, because they're trying to build it up, but in a way where they don't fire off everything they have. Because what has happened here is Nintendo has shown people more and more and more. Every time they show people something, there are naysayers. There are doom and gloomers. There are, people like, this game isn't $70 DLC, it's garbage, all that stuff. After the third trailer, that kind of shut people up. It kind of shut people up. And the previews, you've got some, flabby gum backbenchers trying to complain, but for the most part, the criticisms have pretty much been drilled into the ground. So, they're they're like 2 weeks from the game's launch, a little more. And so what they want to do is get you hyped on what they show you. And then you play the game, and there's so much more. There's so much more there. They want to overwhelm you by the time you're done playing the game. They want you to think that you know what the game is going to be, and then expand it. Now, if they told you they're dungeons, you'd be like, oh, they're dungeons, oh, that's kind of cool. But it wouldn't be as impactful as if it were a surprise. I think that's why they did it. That's why I would do it. I wouldn't tell... By the way, if I were marketing this game, because I know it's going to sell well, I wouldn't tell you fuckers anything. I would tell you fucking shit. Nothing. You get nothing. And by the way, if I were running their marketing department, I would be 10 times as harsh on channels like this. Oh, I would. Let me put it this way, because it's not my job to run your channel. I understand it may be harsh, and it would suck. But I would be out there being like, okay, you want to put this leak stuff up? Okay, well then, we're gonna contact you, cease and desist. I don't know if I would necessarily go with the strikes. I just come out with a cease and desist. And if you kept it up, you felt like, oh well, I can do what I want. Then the strikes would come in. But yeah, absolutely, I would. You're dealing with a game this big, this much money, this many people's jobs on the line, and you're gonna put it in jeopardy for what? Fucking video? Now, some people won't understand that. In fact, I would say most people won't understand that, because there's a reason why average people are average. Working at McDonald's and stuff, there's a reason why that exists, because that is the baseline. So you can't ask somebody like that, who works at a Starbucks, who works at a Taco Bell, average people. You can't ask them, hey, what do you think about Nintendo defending their multi-billion-dollar IP? Because they've never done it before. They've never looked at a situation like that and come anywhere close. I haven't come anywhere close to, we're talking billions of dollars. I haven't come anywhere close to that. But I've come close enough on certain deals. I've been close enough and seen deals that I consider to be pretty big. But not that big. So I can only imagine the pressure on people to get it right. And it doesn't surprise me that they're a little harsh on this.
Able to experience this game. I guess all of our questions will be answered within the next 2 weeks, though. I mean, The game is obviously coming out very soon, and all of this will be a bit of a distant memory. But what won't be a distant memory is how Nintendo has handled this situation. And some things I feel like are somewhat justified. Some things I feel like are just a gross overreaction. If you sign an NDA or an embargo agreement, and then you sort of break that embargo agreement by showing things, whether as minuscule as they are, whatever the case may be, you are kind of at fault for that. But other things that Nintendo seems to be harking on, the commercial, the Switch OLED model, and getting the GameStop employee fired, I don't know, man. That just doesn't sit right with me. That just doesn't feel like a good thing to be doing. If you want to go after the source of this sort of stuff, like, okay, that makes sense. But the fact that the Reddit post was never taken down rubs me the wrong way. The fact that this person who worked at GameStop didn't actually have any concrete evidence of a Zelda OLED model being leaked to the public and just kind of speculated on it and then lost their job, that rubs me the wrong way and probably rubs him the wrong way too. But you gotta be careful, man. These companies are watching YouTubers, big and small. They don't care. I'm not the biggest fish on the block. I'm far from it. But I guess they don't like me anyways, so they're going to watch me. They're going to watch IGN Japan. Like, hey, you can't put... Who do you think you are showing off a gameplay mechanic that's not a big deal, but for some reason we embargoed it? Are there dungeons in our Zelda game? We're not going to tell you that.
So that obnoxious recap. Imagine an alternate universe where I would lower myself enough to work with a New Yorker, and especially a Knicks fan. But imagine for a second that me and him had a business agreement, and we had something that we were going to release. It was going to be huge, and I went ahead and leaked part of it even after signing an NDA. And the part of it that I leaked, I said, it's not a big deal. But to him, it was a big deal. In fact, it was huge. It was a huge thing that completely disrupted his plan for what he was trying to do. Now tell me something. Do you think that his opinion would be the same if it were costing him a boatload of money and attention and views? No. No, his opinion would change very quickly. He would be furious. It would no longer be like, oh gosh, golly shucks, that's too bad. It would be him being irate. And that's because, while I don't know him, he seems like he is a great representation of other YouTubers, other content creators. That type of personality, that type of attitude. So, that is my opinion on this, ladies and gentlemen. If you like my content, consider following me on Rumble. We are 1 follower away from 30. You got that right. God damn, it's going to be beautiful. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.